Hello, everybody. This is John Paval with the Access Arts Live Monday organ live stream action roundup for the week of February 16th to February 23rd. We have all the usual suspects, or some of the usual suspects, lining up this week. And some of the usual suspects are just not here. But we do have organ recitals for you from Toronto, Canada, to Tomsk, Siberia, and points in between, including Oxford, London, and Paris, France, this week. If you've been following Access Arts Live, then you would know that already earlier today, Dmitry Ushakov at the Tomsk Philharmonic was playing a concert called Defenders of the Fatherland, music by Tchaikovsky, Yedike, Prokofiev, and others. And while I'm on that subject, let me remind you, if you like this kind of programming, free of charge, do yourself a favor, follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn. And we'll make sure that you get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online every year. That's what we do at Access Arts Live. Having said that, let me get on to the first of, or the second of this week's live streams, because I already told you about the first one, which you would not have missed if you'd been following Access Arts Live already. And the next one will be tomorrow in the afternoon in London, in Canada, and in the evening here in Europe. Tuesday, February 17th, St. James Cathedral in Toronto live streams Aaron James, the organist and music director at the Toronto Oratory of St. Philip Neri and the Holy Family Parish, a music teacher at St. Philip Seminary, and a sessional lecturer in organ at the University of Toronto, a man who wears many hats, and you see his photo right there. He got his PhD in musicology and his doctor in organ, along with a performance certificate at the Eastman School of Music. So he had top training. 2011, a decade and a half ago, he won the National Organ Playing Competition of the Royal Canadian College of Organists, of which he is now a fellow. And back in 24-25, just last year, he performed the complete works for organ by Johann Sebastian Bach within a single season, all 263 pieces that allegedly make up Bach's organ repertoire. And he did that at the Holy Family Church in Toronto in the Parkdale neighborhood there. We don't know what he's going to be playing. They never tell us what's going to be played at St. James Cathedral, but very often after it's all over, then they do post what they did. There's an interesting interview with the guy about that Bach marathon that he did, and I will try to include the link to it when we post along with this live stream the links to all of these organ recitals that I'm telling you about. It's an organ that was rebuilt about 50 years ago by L.I. Phillips and Associates. 87 ranks, 67 speaking stops, 4 manuals, 6 divisions, and 5,101 pipes. I'm sorry we can't tell you what he's playing, but we can tell you what the next performer is playing, and that will be at one of 2 live stream concerts on Wednesday, both of them coming from the United Kingdom. Wednesday, February 11th, Queen's College, Oxford, welcomes back its alumnus, performer, organist, and scholar Joachim Fontaine of the Evangelische Kirchengemeinde Saarlouis, near Luxembourg in France. That's why the name sounds is it German? Is it French? Where he teaches at the university and the music academy of the Saarland and works regularly as a researcher, author, and radio broadcaster as well. Another recitalist who wears many hats, which I think is not all that uncommon for organists. He has had a whole additional career accompanying prize-winning recordings with the Cantorai Saarlouis, the Ensemble Une Volte, and the Grande Société Philharmonique, and that was on Harmonia Mundi and other labels. And in another recent claim to fame of his was in last summer, he had broadcasted on German national radio his edition and the first contemporary performance of Omnipotence, a pasticcio by Handel and Samuel Arnold, which was created in London in 1774, and which he recovered from doing studies in the British Library and the Royal College of Music. So heck of a guy. Anyway, he'll be playing Christian Flor's Preludium in E, Joseph Seeger's Toccata in A, Johann Pachelbel's 3 Magnificat fugues, the Primi Toni in D, a Fantasia by an anonymous composer, Buxtehude's Prelude and Fugue in D, books WV144 for those of you who count these things and want to look them up, Bach's Prelude and Fugue in E, BWV 533, Paul de Malingros' Credo ut Redemptor Meius Vivit, and Ludwig Boslet's Toccata and Fugue, Opus 33. Way back in the 1980s, his biographies all talk about his studies, even though it was 40 years ago, but he studied in Paris, he studied in Basel, and he studied at Queen's College, Oxford. So this is a return home for him. The organ is a Frobenius organ built and installed in the 1960s, of which Queen's College is very proud. We'll give you the link so you can look up why they're so proud of it, as they are. That will be a lovely concert, if you ask me. I don't always say that either. And then, now, and I probably forgot to give you the time on that. The time on that one is at 2:10 in the afternoon European time, which is 8:10 in the morning on the East Coast and 5:10 in the morning on the West Coast, and a little past midnight down under in Australia. Then 5 minutes later, at 2:15 European time, Temple Church London's weekly organ recital live streams its distinguished resident organist and music director, Charles Andrews, who is also professor of organ and organ coordinator at the Royal College of Music, continuing a long-standing connection between those two institutions. Before joining the Temple Church, Andrews was associate director of music at All Saints Margaret Street, which is one of the top places for church music in London. He'll be other places he'll be playing this year. He'll be playing a recital at St. Bavo, Haarlem, in the Orgelstad concert series, and he had a solo album that came out just last October in 2025. It's a recital of British music, which he recorded at the Temple Church on their organ. What kind of an organ is it, John? It's a Harrison and Harrison Limited organ, which was originally built for a ballroom in Scotland back in the 1920s. And Marcel Dupré actually traveled up from Paris to Scotland to inaugurate it. But it was completely overhauled about a decade ago. Harrison and Harrison took it apart and renovated it in their workshop in Durham. So that's an interesting choice between the two. The difference is, you know what Joachim Fontaine is going to be playing, and they don't tell us what Charles Andrews is going to be playing. So what can I say? Next up is a collaborative concert at the Roman Catholic Cathedral in Moscow, as they are so wont to do. Saturday, February 21st, resident organist Marina Omelchenko of the Roman Catholic Cathedral, the Moscow Regional Philharmonic, and the Terentieva sisters, Elena and Olga, from the Novaya Opera Theater, perform a program of great music of great Lent, is what they call it, including works of Bach, Albinoni, Pergolesi, Beethoven, and Baruch. It's the Roman Catholic Cathedral. Catholics take Lent very seriously. There's you know, the Catholic Church basically created liturgy for all of us, and the Protestants retain as much or as little of it as they want. I can tell you more about the specifics of what they're going to be playing. I can also tell you the Tarancheva sisters perform regularly at the Catholic Cathedral, as does the Moscow Regional Phil, which was there this past weekend, playing another concert. So these are all familiars who have worked together, and they know how to work together. So they'll start with Bach's selections from Bach's St. Matthew Passion, aria number 39, Erbar Medik, aria number 8, Blüte nur, and aria 49, Aus Liebe nur. Then they'll do Albinoni's Adagio in G minor, Pergolesi's Cantata Stabat Mater, Beethoven's Egmont Overture. Sure, let's add some Beethoven for that. Max Bruch's parts 2 and 3 of his Violin Concerto number 2. They don't tell us who's playing the violin in that. And then they'll finish up with part 1 of Beethoven's Symphony number 1. And that's your Saturday concert. It will be Saturday evening in Europe, 6:30 in the evening in Europe, lunchtime concert in New York City, 12:30 in the afternoon, and a breakfast concert out in LA at 9:30 in the morning. And then we have one more live stream to tell you about this week, which will be on Sunday. And let me bring up the photo for that of Thomas Ospital, a man whom I know and have interviewed. If you're really interested in Thomas Ospital and the Église Saint-Eustache Church in the Saint-Eustache Church in the middle of Paris, you can go to our YouTube channel, and in the interview section, you will find a 35-minute live stream interview I did with Thomas Ospital, where he told us all about that organ there in detail, comparing it to the organs at Saint-Sulpice and the organs at Notre Dame, which are the two other main large-scale organs in town. So let me introduce this to you, though, properly. Sunday, February 22nd, St. Eustache Church in the heart of Paris welcomes back to its weekly live stream globe-trotting resident organist Thomas Ospital from his American tour, reprising Louis Viern's Third Symphony for organ on the 7,952-pipe Van den Heuvel organ. That's an organ, I'm telling you. That's at the usual time, 5 o'clock in the evening in Paris, 11 in the morning in New York City, 8 in the morning in Los Angeles, and at some middle of the night down under in Australia. He's just back from Los Angeles. He was at the Los Angeles Philharmonic last Sunday on the 8th, which was, today is what, the 16th. Yeah, it was just a week ago Sunday. And where he played, he's going to be playing Louis Viern's Third Symphony this Sunday, and he played it last Sunday at the LA Philharmonic on an organ which has 6,134 pipes, which if you look at the LA Phil, well, I will tell you this, on his Instagram account, Thomas Ospital was thrilled to play that organ and really enjoyed doing so. A lot of people don't realize that Thomas Ospital was a prodigy. He finished up his studies at the Conservatoire, the conservatory in Paris in 2015, and in that same year he got hired to be one of the 2 resident organists at Saint Eustache Church, one of the main churches with the big organ, an organ the same size as roughly as the one at Notre Dame, as a successor to the legendary Jean Guillou. I mean, that was a real feather in his cap. Anyway, this Third Symphony by Vierne was composed in 1911 and dedicated to and premiered by Marcel Dupré, his dear friend and protege, although subsequently they would have a falling out. But since we don't gossip on Access Arts Live, I won't go into that in detail. But last, Ospital just did this tour in the U.S. He was in Atlanta, he was in Kansas, he was in Philadelphia, he was in Rochester, New York. Now he's back here. Back in December, he did a concert appearance with the Cologne Philharmonic, which was terrific, in which he played 3 pieces. Mozart organ and orchestra concerto with Marie Jacot conducting, and then he played 2 pieces on his own. He's really a top guy, and we will include a link to his personal website, tomasospital.com, so you can follow up and find out more about the guy if you so desire. Folks, that's what we have for you this week in terms of live stream action. The Eccles Organ Festival is not going on. The Methuen Music Hall is not live streaming organ concerts now. Riverside, New York City is not live streaming until they get closer to the summertime, et cetera, et cetera. Glasgow is down for organ renovations, I think. So we're missing some things. And St. Paul's in San Diego is rerunning recordings of their organ recitals, and we do not promote recordings. We only promote the live. I hope that any of these live streams uplifts you, inspires you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. And with that, I'll remind you just one more time, if you like this kind of programming, do yourself a favor. Follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on Facebook, YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, or LinkedIn, preferably the first 2, to make sure that you get access to more than 1,000 live links to live performances of organ recitals, but also piano recitals and all kinds of chamber music and early music and contemporary compositions and orchestral works and opera and ballet. We have it all at Access Arts Live, and our service is free of charge, and at least 85% of all the live streams we'll give you the links to are free as well. So seriously think about following Access Arts Live and inviting your friends to follow it on Facebook. If you go to our Facebook page and you click on where you go to follow us, you can then invite all of your contacts on Facebook to enjoy these thousands and thousands of hours of live performances as well. With that, I'll say ciao for now, and I'll be back in the next couple of days with our chamber music roundup for this week and our orchestral and operatic works roundup for this week.